Dr. Ferguson, what is the best way to treat metabolic syndrome?
Well, metabolic syndrome is insulin resistance, and so the treatment is to modulate the sensitivity of the receptors to insulin, and that can be done through diet and lifestyle changes. So, first of all, the food choices for metabolic syndrome would involve a low glycemic index diet, and what that means is every food is given a glycemic index, an amount. When that food is consumed, how much does that food spike your blood sugar, raise your blood sugar?
Okay.
And if it's not much, then it's considered low glycemic index. If it has a large effect, if it really spikes your blood sugar, it's called high glycemic index. And so you want to avoid the foods that spike your sugar a lot, high glycemic index, and eat a more low glycemic index diet. And so that would be, things that lower glycemic index would be the more fiber a food has, the lower glycemic index it has. The smaller the portion size will have a less blood sugar spiking effect. Actually, having fat and protein incorporated in the food lowers the glycemic index. And you can see one of the problems in America during the low-fat craze was that a lot of foods, the fat was removed and sugar was added in, creating a high glycemic index type food, which involves spiking blood sugars, and over time blood sugars just spike, and you get this yo-yo effect that over time causes more and more insulin to be released, and the receptors become insensitive. So one, food choices, low glycemic index diet. Two would be to eat small frequent meals throughout the day. So you could think of it as like 5 mini meals, or breakfast, lunch, and dinner with snacks in between. And what that does is that keeps your blood sugars more even, and you get less of this dip and up and dip and up. Because every time your blood sugars spike, you get a corresponding spike in insulin, which over time makes your insulin receptors less sensitive. And the goal is to make those receptors more sensitive. So eating 5 mini meals, each one balanced with protein, carbs, and fats, so that it's more lower glycemic index, with more fiber foods like fruits and vegetables, and whole foods versus processed foods. When you process a food, it makes it higher on the glycemic index. So like a whole grain versus a refined grain, a whole fruit versus a fruit juice. And then within foods, certain foods are just naturally lower in the glycemic index. The next thing to do would be to exercise. Exercise has been shown helpful for metabolic syndrome. And, for some people, just get out and do anything.
Right.
But, start with just whatever you can do, whatever you're willing to commit to, and do that for a while until it becomes habit. And then, because for most people, the most difficult thing is actually making time for it and getting out and doing it. And once it becomes a habit, then you can increase it more. And you want to do, some aerobic exercise. Weight training is also a good idea, because weight training actually burns more calories per time spent than aerobic exercise, because you break down the proteins in your muscles when you're weight training, and then your body has to rebuild those proteins, so it takes a lot more calories. So you'll see a better response in normalizing your body composition. The fourth thing to do for metabolic syndrome would be to improve the sensitivity of your insulin receptors, and there are several ways to do that. One is fish oil, improves the sensitivity, and so you can eat fish or take fish oil. And magnesium deficiency makes your insulin receptors less sensitive, and specifically in the periphery. So magnesium can improve insulin sensitivity. Alpha-lipoic acid can also improve insulin sensitivity, and we see in say type 2 diabetes patients who have peripheral neuropathy, or they can't feel, they have a sensation of not feeling things in their legs. High doses of alpha-lipoic acid can actually treat that very well.
That's an antioxidant, right?
And that's an antioxidant that's touted as one of the best antioxidants because its ability to be both fat soluble and water soluble. And there are several other nutrients that improve insulin's receptor sensitivity. So you can see the idea is to have less blood sugar spiking, improve that sensitivity, and get a person moving and get their blood flowing through exercise. And it's been estimated that that 90% of type 2 diabetes patients can be improved, if not cured, through diet and lifestyle changes, and that should be the first line therapy in every patient with metabolic syndrome or type 2 diabetes is diet and lifestyle changes, because it's cost effective, because it's sustainable, and because people just outright feel better and don't have to pay for large expensive drugs. But if your situation gets out of hand enough, you may need some medications for a time being while you get your lifestyle rolling. But essentially that's how you approach metabolic syndrome and type 2 diabetes.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.